Happens Beginner Bra Making Series. Over the course of the next few videos, I'm going to share with you some tips, tricks, and tools to help you along your bra making journey. My name's Kata, and I'm one of the owners of Stitch Happens. I've been making bras for several years now, and I'm here to help you demystify the techniques of bra making and simplify your journey. In this video, I will be sharing with you my top tools for bra making. These are the tools that I have found over the years are the most essential for constructing well-fitting bras. When you get started making your first bra, you're quickly going to find that accuracy and precision is very important. With any sewing project, our accuracy will start right from the cutting. I like to use a rotary cutter when I'm doing my cuts, and if you're a quilter or you've just done some general clothing sewing before, you might have a large rotary cutter. We're not going to want to use that here, so what I like to use is a 28mm rotary cutter. You can go a little bit smaller. They do sell 18mm rotary cutters. I find that the 18mm are a little bit small. If you're only making bras, they might be useful for you, but I make both bras and swimwear along with a lot of other things, so I like the 28mm. You're going to want to make sure that you change your blades often. So these blades, just like anything else, will dull and relatively quickly. I wish they lasted a little bit longer, but unfortunately they don't. So just make sure that you're changing those blades regularly and that you're buying high quality blades. I like the Olfa rotary cutters, but Fisker is also a good brand, and there's a few other ones out there. Of course, if you're using a rotary cutter, you need a cutting mat. So I like things that are pink. I've chosen a pink cutting mat here, but any cutting mat will work for you. You can have a large cutting mat, or if you're just doing bra making, there are a lot of smaller ones out there. Again, like I said, I make a lot of different types of clothing, so I like to have a larger cutting mat. I also have one even larger than this for when I'm doing big products, but find one that works best for your needs. If you're not into rotary cutters, or you want to just do a combination, I find I do a little bit of both, you're going to want to invest in a really good pair of Tailor shears. So these ones are Ginger knife edge Tailor shears. Ginger is one of my favorite brands. They're not the only brand out there, so you can definitely look into some other brands, but they are, again, they're called knife edge. Ginger is actually owned by Fisker now, but they have a warranty on them, and you can send them off to get sharpened, and if something happens to them that is not your fault, they will actually replace them. So really great guarantee on these ones. Okay, and then again, I just find right out of the package they are really sharp. A lot of the fabrics that we're using for bra making are very fine, so we don't want anything that's going to snag our fabrics. With your scissors, you do want to make sure that you get them sharpened every so often, so they will get dull over time. You can, if you have gingers, you can send them off to Ginger. I know it's very easy if you're in the US to send them off to have them sharpened, but if you're in another country, you might just want to find your local sharpener. Where I live, there's a guy who sharpens saw blades and a bunch of other stuff, and he'll do my scissors for me. It's about $10, and I do it about once a year, so it's definitely worth it. Okay, on that same topic, we need duckbill scissors. These are, again, not an absolute essentials. They're kind of a little bit of a nice to have, not essentially a need to have. You can use regular applique scissors if you can't get your hands on these, or if you just don't want to add something else to your toolkit until you're sure that you want to keep going with bra making. But I use these a lot outside of bra making as well. So duckbill scissors are called as such because they have a rounded edge here. Okay, so I guess they look a little bit like a duckbill. You can decide if you feel that they do, but these are, again, these are made by Ginger, so these are offset because they have this little bend to them. You might also find them called embroidery scissors. Ginger, again, is a great brand. I also love the Tula Pink brand as well, and again, just want to keep them sharp. You can also get these sharpened as well. We talked a little bit about how the fabrics are very fine, and for that reason, we're going to want to use very sharp pins. So I like glass needle or plastic head pins, okay? So the old ones come in glass, newer ones usually tend to be plastic. The other thing I love to have is one of these magnetic pin cushions. The reason for this, if you keep your pins in a little box or basket. If you're like me at all, you knock them over all the time. It's really annoying to pick up. I started using a magnetic pin cushion about 2 years ago, and I've just found it so much simpler because I can just take them on and off really quickly. If you sew with clips as well, clips usually have a little metal portion in them, so this will pick them up as well. And then if you do happen to knock another container of pins over, this is a great magnet to go ahead and pick them up. We want our pins to be very sharp, so obviously when we first buy them, they are usually pretty sharp. Be careful of knockoff or really cheap brands, on especially on Amazon. Some of them are not super sharp and they will snag your fabric, so make sure that you buy an actual branded pin. These ones are Dritz, Clover makes them as well. You'll see a lot of different ones. The ones that are super cheap, they're probably not going to work too well for you. Read the reviews on them though. If they have some good reviews, then you'll probably be okay. So pins, just like our scissors and our needles, they do get dull over time. One thing that you will want to invest in as well is either a pin cushion that has emery in it, or these old school tomato pin cushions. In the strawberry, there's actually emery particles. So emery is the same stuff that is on our nail files, and it will sharpen your pins. So you can take your pins and just shove them in and out a couple times, and it will help to keep them sharp. You can also, like I said, buy ones that are entirely emery in the whole thing, or you can buy emery filings and you can make yourself a pin cushion. You do know how to sew after all. When I'm working with bra fabrics, I want to use a microtex needle. So a microtex needle is a very sharp needle that is intended for fine fabrics. So microtex is great for bra making. It's also really good for a lot of athletic fibers as well, and maybe if you're sewing with lightweight silks and chiffons. So microtex, for bra making, a size 11 or 12 is usually the best size to go with. We don't want to go too big because they are a delicate fiber. My favorite brand of needles is Schmetz. One of the reasons why I like Schmetz is that they do have colored bands on them. So Schmetz needles will either have 1 or 2 bands. The universal needles only have 1 band, but all of the other ones have 2. The top band lets me know what type of needle this is. So for microtex, we have kind of a purpley color here, and then on the second band, it lets me know what size it is. So the orange, orangey red color here corresponds to a size 80 or 12, depending on which size range you're using. I like these because I change my needles between my machine quite a bit, and if I take them out, then I know, well, that's what that is. If you buy other brands of needles, you might have to look very closely on the shank to see what they are, or they might not be marked at all. So that's one of the reasons why I like to buy the Schmetz needles. Okay, next up, seam ripper. So ideally we don't have to use our seam ripper, but I'm sure if you've made anything before, you're well aware that the seam rippers do happen. So invest in a good seam ripper. I like this one because it's a little bit thicker and allows me to grip a bit easier. But any seam ripper will do. Again, these do get dulled over time. Some that you can buy will allow you to replace this blade here at the top. If you buy a cheaper one, they usually don't, and so just make sure that you replace it every so often. And the last thing here is not something that you can buy, but it's something that you can make really easily. So a lot of people just call these a knob or a bra knob, and what this is it's actually a fence post top, so for outdoor fences, and then I've just put it into a piece of 2x4 here. So when I'm doing my bras and I have to iron around seams, it can be a little bit tricky, especially with these curves here, to just do it on a flat surface with my iron. And if I have one of these guys here, I can put it on and then I can take my iron and just press these seams flat a lot easier here. Okay, one other thing that you can do instead of the knob is a boob ham. So a boob ham, much like a tailor's ham, is something that you can make, and you'll make it in the shape of a half circle, and then you can put your cup over that and iron it as well. Alternatively, if you do already have a tailor's ham, you can go ahead and use that. You might just have to kind of fiddle on the curves a little bit more. So you'll find which one works best for you. Some people really like the ham. Some people like to just iron flat. I like to use my knob. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions about the tools or anything else that you need to know about bra making, let me know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe so you see all of our videos.